All right, welcome back to another video. We got a great question from the community. If you have questions, drop them below. This question says, could you consider doing a video, yes, on timing to achieve the peak sustained sales results? Yes. It will likely be different for different categories of books and vary within even a few examples to be helpful. So I love this question because it really helps us to plan better. We also had a comment about not publishing during November to February and when is the right time to publish. My response to that is like, if you like making money online, you absolutely should publish all the time, especially when you have ideas come to you and there is a demand for it. My name is Hansen Lane. I've been publishing for 3 years on Amazon. I've crossed 6 figures with my book royalties. This channel is dedicated to help you understand how to make books profitable. That is the core. That is what I've done. My Amazon ads have scaled to 6 figures. That also helps me bring in that royalty. Okay, so when we talk about minimum peak, I think it's important to remember when you are creating books to get the book out 90 days before that holiday that you're focusing on. When we talk about timing, I don't really see any other timing adherence that is outside of holidays. If you're doing a book about mindset or mental health, yesterday is the best day to publish that. When you find niches that are doing really well, yesterday is the best day to publish that. So there is a cadence of getting in a workflow where you can actually create books. In a previous video, I talked about creating a book in 90 minutes, and that is something that happened over the 3 years of putting in the reps of doing books. So if it's taking you 2 to 3 hours, be kind to yourself, give yourself grace, and only work on it when you're excited. Now, if you're like, I'm never excited, then we might have to do other things like take a walk around the block, journal the things that you love in life, right? There's little things we can do to get our excitement up. When we talk about timing for actually turning on ads for holiday season, we want to start those in October. And we want to do something that's called a high daily budget with a low bid amount. And so essentially we're kind of warming up our Amazon ads book account by showing Amazon we're ready to play and we want to scale. Now, a really important thing to remember about running book ads is that you are charged every time I spend $500, Amazon charges me. I can't pay the bill early like I can with Facebook ads. And so you need to have a dedicated account to do that. Now, because we're not paid out for 60 days, it almost makes more sense to leverage any type of credit card points that you have to be able to cash flow until you get paid. I know multiple people that have gone to their bank to open a line of credit. They have showed their KDP reports. They have showed their income to their bank to say, like, over the course of a year, I've made $10,000. Can I get a loan for $2,500 to run ads this year? Now, I'm never going to be a financial guru that tells you what you should or should not do. You're going to know those limits your best. But I have always been more confident to be able to use a credit card that has a limit instead of hooking up my debit account to my KDP book ads, okay? So every account is different. You're going to get charged at different stages of the ad being turned on. When I started 3 years ago, I actually was charged like $40 or $80, and now every time I fit $500, I'm getting charged. So last month I spent $1,500, so that means 3 times my credit card was charged, and I'm making sure that when my KDP royalty check comes in, that 60 days later, I'm staying up to date in my account. So there is a little bit of a cadence that you do have to figure out, and that's why I like to set aside those book royalties. I've told you in previous videos that my goal for my KDP book royalty is to cover all of my business expenses. Like, it covers every YouTube app that I paid for. It covers my email list, my CRM. It covers any bills that I have. But right now, I'm not able to do that because I need to have, like, for example, $4,000 came into my account yesterday for the end of October. So I'm going to use that $4,000. I'm going to pay off the credit card, and I'm going to have another $2,200 to use for ads for November. And that's kind of the game, because the more that we can spend to acquire a sell, the more organic sales we can see. And so it's going to be different for everybody, but not turning on ads actually just leaves us in that place of like not knowing if something can actually work for us. And I don't love that. I don't love that sense of like what ifs. And so you can start very small. My first budget in 2021 of January was $15, and I watched it like a hawk because in January I only made $18.77. But because I made those organic sales, I was able to get more royalties. And so I knew that the money would come in every 60 days. Okay. So you want to get ready for that Christmas season in October. But truly, one of my friends told me, they do self-publishing, that they start focusing and ramping up ads the week of Black Friday. And so that's when they start spending, and then the majority of their budget is spent from Black Friday to December 24th. So essentially, just under 30 days, you might end up spending $1,000, $2,000, $4,000. And so I've been trying to figure out, like, how do I take you on this journey? Because the journey is not, well, and maybe you guys tell me, maybe you tell me in the comments. I was going to say the journey is not just those 27 days, but maybe it is. Maybe I do a video every single day, like, but they're very boring because I'm just checking. I'm just raising the bid amount. I'm just checking to make sure everything's going okay. And so when we talk about the prep, like the prep really begins with like creating a good book that you know is going to work with ads. Okay. So I don't want you, if you're not getting organic sales or you're not confident in this book, I don't want you to go out and spend a bunch of money without having some type of like insurance, you know what's happening. And you've probably heard me say this before, but having a good book is kind of the ad insurance that you need to be able to scale. And so that is an important step, okay? So for those of you that are brand new and you might not have a book that is selling, tune in to the self-publishers that are scaling this October, November, and December, and just take notes of what you want to do for next year. When someone else asked about the timing, I started creating books for Q4 in March because March is a season that is not very busy for me. I don't have any of my kids' birthdays. It is not quite spring, but it is not quite winter. So I felt like it was the best time. I think I got out 100 books during that like 30 to 60 day period. I used some of that in February. And so in March is when I release things. It gives me time to add the A+ content, but then also it validates itself. Like I got organic sales. And so when July hit, I made $1,000 organically. So now I have that $1,000 to add to my ad spend for October, November, and December. So if you're just getting started, think about those times where maybe you're tuning into Netflix or Amazon Prime or you're scrolling TikTok. Like the dreariest times can be really productive book creation processes. For me, it's when the weather is not great because I actually love being out in nature. That's why I have a book income stream machine. Like if I can get away and go hiking with my kids, I love that. Okay. So drop questions that you have about this timeline and this cadence because it is literally never too late. Like it doesn't matter when this video was published and I'm old and 80, wrinkly and, cute wrinkly. It's still going to be the right time. As long as, Amazon Kindle Direct Publishing is around. And there's even a movement now when you build an audience, traditional publishers come to you because they want your audience. And so there's never been a better time to publish. And understanding the book creation process can really help you if you even decide to sell off Amazon, okay? I have a free training coming up. I'm going to talk about how I crossed 6 figures. I want to give you an invitation, so I'm going to put a link below. Please let me know I can help you. And just remember, anytime you publish is a good time. I love you. Peace out.